Hi, welcome back to Spring CS170. So gonna just do a couple of quick admin stuff with this video, maybe just give you some pointers on the upcoming exam, and just answer a few questions that random people have been asking me. I figure I could just cover all of that in this one video. Okay, so first things first, for this week, where are we at right now, right? So if you remember last week, we just did the introduction to JavaScript. Um, so this week is really more essentially advanced JavaScript. So you see down here, this point, let me actually blow this up a little bit. Okay, and zoom. Oops, it's a bit too much. Well, okay, I think this is probably decent size here. But you've been watching their videos, and I think I always start off looking at the student schedules PDF here, right? So we're over here, and you can see, you know, we're basically getting through halfway. Actually, I'm pointing at the wrong thing here. This line right here. Sorry about that. So we're on this week 6 here, and we're doing the JavaScript programming here. Okay, and as you can see here, we have the exam on Wednesday, so I suspect a lot of you are going to be studying for that. So I'll step into that in a second, right? But this is where we're at, right? And as usual, I kind of remind people, all of this stuff here in white is what you're going to be tested on for this exam here, right? So it's this color shading here, white background. So that means all of these chapters here, all of this stuff here, whatnot, right? At a very high level, I'm just going to say it's basically covering HTML, numeric conversions, okay? Some people have been asking me about these flowcharts and pseudocode. It's in this second color here, right? So it's definitely going to be in the second exam, not in the first exam, okay? So do keep that in mind, right? I think it's pretty clear cut here. It says specifically which chapters, which topics are going to be in chapter 1. Okay, if that's not clear, just let me know, but hopefully it is clear. But anyway, just to remind you, this is where we're at right now. Week 6, we're going to be doing the JavaScript. Last week we only kind of covered like the variables. Okay, and again, let's take a look here. Just an example here. I don't know if this is too big, maybe. Let me shrink this down just a tad. But you get the idea, right? I mean, you see the resources that are out there for every week. Basically, it's readings, right? So, you're studying for your exam. Don't make it to be like sort of like memorizing everything, because you do have access to this during the test. So I think the main idea, there's many different ways to approach it. Some people would just say, okay, I'm just going to look in the book, right? And I just kind of have read in the past, so I know which chapters I read. And then if a question comes up, I'm not quite clear, maybe you ask me something about Hollerith and the census and what year was that. Okay, then you'll say, okay, I know which chapter to go look in the book. Other people, they might be reading the book and then they'll be taking notes, and they'll take like bullet points so that they can just look on one page and see all of those things. So again, everyone has their own style on it, right? But in either case, I don't really look at it as you're reading it and then you're sitting there trying to memorize everything, right? Just, try to understand the key concepts and understand, like, if we need to drill into something, just know where to look, all right? Hopefully that reduces the amount of stress people might have about doing this, right? If this was like an exam where you just have to memorize all these facts and details, it's going to be much harder, right? But if you look at it to kind of, understand where things are at, understand key people, maybe key concepts, right? And these key concepts are things that you see here in the learning objectives, right? We put this out for every one of the weeks that we've done, right? So you understand the ideas. We're going to be doing number conversions, right? So we're going to be doing binary to decimal and vice versa, to hex, right? So, I think one of my extra credit assignments was to have you do those example conversions. That's essentially part of your notes right there, right? So by actually do conversions, you should be able to quickly look at it, write it up. And I think, you've been sending it to me in email, but for the exam, you know, whether you want to do it on like, a piece of paper, take a picture of it or whatever for the work, that's what you sent to me on your email, and that's what you can upload for the exam. So hopefully we've made it as easy as possible for you to do well on these exams, okay? Um, so take a look at this. This is what you have to study, right? You have the textbook, you can read through it, but don't memorize it, right? Um, these are the things here that we're probably going to ask you questions on, right? Um, I don't want to read every single one of these things. I mean, everyone here knows how to read, right? So just take a look at these, and if you see things that you have questions on, then, let us know. But really, theoretically, these things are the things that you're going to probably get asked on for the exam, okay? So you see this vocabulary. If you don't understand any of this vocabulary, let us know. Um, Text questions. Yeah, I know there are some people that pointed out a couple of things that were not cool, which is great. Right? You asked it on Piazza over here. And we have encouraged our TAs and everyone else to try to pay attention to the Piazza and answer quick questions as quickly as possible. But even students can respond to these questions too. So hopefully this is a good place not only for people to share answers, but for other people to engage with other people in the group, right? Other students or whatever, right? I don't know, you might see these two unanswered questions. This is like for another group of students that are like overseas, so it doesn't really apply to us. Um, but yeah, you can see things here. Now, uh, there was this person here asking about like flow charts and stuff like that. You have to be careful here because um, we can't really give you the answers for the assignment, right? We can give you hints or whatever, but really try not to ask questions about how to answer an assignment question, right? Because the whole point of view is that you're supposed to figure out how to do the assignment, right? But some of the questions are a little bit borderline to clarify some misunderstanding, right? In this case, I think the person's pretty much asking, is this correct or not? Which, actually is not really a question we should be answering on Piazza, right? You can ask those type of questions during lab hours maybe, but the idea is that we're not really supposed to give you the answers for the assignments, okay? Um, but I think there was some other things here, like let's say this textbook question here, right? So yeah, that's pretty legit, and it's good for everyone to kind of see that question. So yeah, there are some stuff in the textbook which are a bit vague. Like in this case, I think this question's a bit vague, and you're not going to see this type of question on the exam, right? What you could see is something like, okay, this question is about local area networks, right? And you might say, well, okay, what are the components in the local area network, which is fair game, right? But to ask me like, what is the main technology, i.e. is implying like one component, or could be applying. The point is that this is pretty vague, right? It doesn't specifically say that, right? I don't think this question is worded well. It seems pretty vague to me. You could argue that actually it doesn't say specifically one. It could be asking for multiple, right? Um, but in either case, just understand what are the main components with an S uh, in a local area network. I think that's fair game. Okay, but anyway, there's a number of other questions in here which you might be well served to take a look at these. Okay, now there was a some other questions, people are asking me like, okay, this is supposed to be computer apps for business, so am I really going to be, doing HTML, JavaScript, and whatnot? Maybe, maybe not, right? But I'll just kind of show you, like in my own personal work life, like me dealing with things like HTML and JavaScript. JavaScript is very common in my line of work, right? Because we do a lot of processing or calculations off of, uh, you know, essentially different inputs, right? Different types of data and whatnot. So that's part of what we do, right? But let me just show you a couple of things here. So I can't, unfortunately, I have to kind of show you in terms of screenshots because this is actually in my company's internal website, so I'm not really supposed to have a live view of that, sensitive information, proprietary information, and stuff like that. But, so I've been tasked with, essentially uh, creating, hopefully not really supporting, but at least creating um, our website for our group's activities, right? So I'm part of a certain group. Um, so we're doing different things like this, right? So basically up here, this basically talks about us. We're in operations technology. This is the name of our department. You kind of set up stuff so that people can subscribe to your information. So I put in something here, talk about like key dates that are coming up. Uh, you can't see it, but this is something that actually kind of is like a carousel. It kind of flips around to all the different groups within our larger department, and then you can link into their page to kind of see what they're doing, right? Uh, I created like this poll because we're going to try to vote for our next, team social event. Um, you know, there's a couple other different interesting bits of information that I highlighted. This is our cover, our overview page here. And then I created an area here that's a gallery for like different team pictures and stuff like that. Um, you know, and I create like an ideas area so people can submit ideas on different things we can do. You can do a search. You have categories like different uh, essentially tags on the information, so people might be interested on a particular topic. They can go here quickly, right? So that's our cover area. What are the other things we have here? Uh, so this is our content, so you can see all the different blogs and whatnot. I've been initializing it, that's why you see all this stuff is like by me, right? So I've just been loading this up. You can see the different categories I have here. Um, so you can create polls, you can, do different blog posts or whatever, right? You can create events for the team, so on and so forth, right? So all of this is stuff that, uh, on the one hand, there's different, types of uh, frameworks or setups that will essentially let you drag and drop and set up a web page, but at the same time, you should understand HTML to be able to manipulate it, customize it, tweak it a little bit, because sometimes, those generalized types of things, doesn't quite exactly fit what you would like to do. So for you to understand HTML, you want to tweak things and whatnot. It's good to be able to understand that. So unfortunately, like I said, I can only show you screenshots here of the page. I can't really go onto my company's site and show you things live, or RDP, I guess, into my company. I can't really share that with everyone else, okay? But just trust me, if I click on HTML, there's a button I can click on the HTML, and you'll see all of the HTML that we're showing you. Not all of it, right? We're only showing you the basic HTML. But the idea is still there, right? You look at HTML, all the stuff we show you, those are essentially little blocks. And then you can put all the blocks together, right? So you remember like I was talking about doing a table. Well, okay, table is one thing, but a lot of times we don't just show a plain table, right? Maybe we want to make certain things bold. We want to make certain things a different color. You want to make a certain font size, a certain font. You want to do different things like put a picture, inside the table or whatever, right? You can all do that based on all of the different components or blocks that we've showed you or demonstrated in the book or whatever, right? And you just have to make sure that you have the beginning tag and the end tag, and you just it's syntax. But once you can do that, then you can think of all of these as different little components, and then you can piece them all together to make the page look how you want it to look. This is one thing that I did to kind of show like a poll, right? So we set up a poll and people can, vote. In this case, we're voting for the next team social event, right? So we're doing like networking roulette or lunch and learn or virtual coffee break or doing a game night. Everybody just comes here and just clicks on it, and then we just collect the results, right? So that's something else that that I put into the page here. This is just a recent blog post that I put up. You may or may not have heard it, right? But Citigroup, bank that you may have heard of, basically sent out a whole bunch of money accidentally, right? And you say, wow, that's a pretty big screw up, right? And the courts have said, yeah, you're not going to get that money back, right? And I won't go into the reason why they don't get their money back, but basically they sent out a whole bunch of money. Yeah, I think by anybody's standard, that's a whole bunch of money, right? So, but I think that's not the important point here, right? And if you scroll further down in this, but if you do a search on the internet, you'll see like, uh, the key point here, uh, horrific UI design is led to making that mistake, right? So you can say on the one hand, this is a human error, right? And in this case, it actually took multiple humans to make that error. It wasn't just like one person that could just arbitrarily send money to whoever they want. Theoretically, there is checks and balances. So there's supposed to be, people who's doing sign-offs on this. So multiple people did sign-offs on this because um, the user interface was not very clear. It was not implemented in such a way to warn people, say, hey, you might be sending a buttload of money to like the wrong person, right? Or the wrong amount of money. And it's just poor UI design, right? Among other things that you might see egregious examples of, right? So, these are the type of things that impact all of us, right? So we don't think just of like, say, oh, I want to wire money from point A to point B, right? There is a certain type of user experience, user interface design to reduce the amount of potential errors. Right? In this case, this is like just a god awful error for a huge amount of money. Um, but so people are asking me like, okay, all of this stuff that we're teaching in class, how does it tie to us doing stuff uh, when we're out in the working world? I mean, these things are important. You may or may not be a part of like implementing it, right? So maybe you're like a user, right? You're using it, right? But sometimes you have to be the one that raise your hand and say, hey, this flow, this workflow is not really good, right? It opens up things for people to make a mistake or whatever, right? So it's not all on just the IT people to come up with a great user experience or user interface, right? So no matter where you land, whether you land on the IT side, you land on the business side, wherever, it's good to understand how these things work, how these things fit together. Um, and you may not be actually doing the work, you may not be editing HTML. Certainly there's probably a lot of people in my position that wouldn't be editing it. Um, it's just something that I kind of picked up, right? Normally, I would actually delegate doing like the department website to one of my junior folks, but I post a lot of articles anyway, so I figure I might as well just get in there and kind of at least get the initial site set up. So the other things I've done on my own personal side of things, you know, so this is a karate school that I have, and you know, this one I can show you something actually moving since um, I have ownership of this. This is my own thing. Um, but yeah, we put on different things. We put on some pictures. you know, talk about like different types of programs that we have, um, you know, pictures and whatnot, right? Let me see here. You can, I got stuff up here. We've got the schedule. Uh, Programs is sort of like what we had at the bottom there. Of course, we have our contact. We have events over here. Um, you know, we get onto our contact. You can hit something here. I mean, of course, obviously we have things like on other social media, like Facebook and Instagram and whatnot, right? Um, you know, you can click on here. You can get directions to our place, whatnot. Um, and you know, again, there's things on the back end, right? It's not as simple as just like, okay, let me use Wix or something to create this page. You want people to find your page, right? So there's, remember we talked about earlier in the class in terms of search engine optimization, right? How do you make it so that those crawlers are able to get to your page and make sure that it matches up to other people who are looking for relevant things, right? So karate school near me, right? Uh, if you don't put anything in your page, no one's going to know to even look at your page, right? So there are things that you need to do to set it up so it's found easily, right? Now, there's other points in terms of, um, you know, understanding the or tracking, you know, people who are even remotely close to looking at your site, you know, looking at their demographics and whatnot. Those points are a little bit debatable as to whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, what the implications are for you. But it is, you know, the point of what I'm talking about here is that there are things on the back end that, yeah, you could pay other people to do it, or you can do it yourself, right? So, you know, things like looking at, uh, you know, all of the people who click through something to you so you can get their contact information, right? Uh, Understand more information about them to increase uh, the, the performance of your whatever marketing you're doing. In this case, this is a web page, but it could be on Facebook or one of the other things. So there's all kinds of things that will help you understand the people that you're engaging with. Again, we can debate about whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but as a business owner, you know, you want those type of things, right? To figure out how to follow up with them, um, you know, how to market your product properly to each of the different demographic slices, all that type of stuff, right? So all that type of stuff, I know we don't give you like exhaustive like info on all of these things. We kind of only give you like the tip of the iceberg, but hopefully it does give you some food for thought. And if you do want to explore further, if you do end up doing stuff like creating web pages, running a business, doing the marketing for it, doing your own internal corporate website, whatever, um, you know, it at least at least allows you to know which questions to ask and where to look to answer those things if you want to manage those yourself or you're working with other people who's managing it for you, but you still want to understand what's going on. Okay. Um, this is like basically a blog that I do, but you know, we kind of tie it to uh, like some little sales here and there. Um, you know, do some reviews, tie that back to like Amazon and whatnot as a part of an affiliate program and whatnot. Um, so you know, just little side things that we're doing. But you know, to people who are asking me like, okay, how can I really apply this from a business perspective? This is how you apply it from a business perspective, at least from my perspective. Of course, there's other things that people are doing, right? You actually have the power to do things that you can do uh, essentially what people call software as a service to other people. So maybe you come up with this awesome way to, uh, you know, look up, let's say, real estate, to value the properties, to uh, tell you what the rental market should be for those properties, or whatever, some sort of calculators. You can provide that as a service to other people who are in the real estate business. Okay, um, so it goes beyond just being able to uh, have a nice looking web page and just display it to people. You can do all kinds of stuff these days, and that's one of the great things about the internet. and some of the tools that are available now. People are really empowered. So you can start small, just build it up. And it doesn't have to be a large company to do all kinds of things in terms of like monetizing your idea. So that's what this is all about. Okay, so for people who are asking me those type of questions, this is just the tip of the iceberg of what you can do. Okay, uh, again, if there's any questions on that, on how you want to go deeper on it, like I said, it's not part of the class. We're only giving you a tip of the iceberg, but I'm happy to go into those things for you. Okay. Um, Fortunately, uh, people do ask questions on Piazza, so I think a lot of questions have been answered on Piazza. Um, but if people have questions about the exam coming up, uh, again, first and foremost, try to share it on Piazza. We should be getting the proctor information out. The proctor information, all this is just like our WebEx, right? And there'll be a schedule. Like every hour, there'll be one of us that's available, and you can ask us stuff about the exam. Like if there's something that needs to be clarified or whatever, you can go ahead and hit us on that, just like if you're going to drop into our office hours or stuff like that. So that schedule should be out soon. I just saw Professor Trees was getting like the different slots filled in. So hopefully we can get that out soon. Um, and I think that should be it, right? And again, I need to, one last word, I want to caution you, do not do things like copy and paste and whatnot, because we can log your keystrokes into Canvas. So we know definitely when you're doing stuff like that, and that really raises up a red flag in terms of cheating. Uh, and because we're giving everyone warnings right now, like the first offense for it is essentially going to be going onto your record, right? So I really encourage you, don't do it, right? It's not necessary, right? I think this is an open book exam. You take your notes, everything should be cool, right? Don't risk your academic career over something stupid like that. So please pay attention, be careful, uh, and just do the right thing, and you'll be fine. Okay? But if anything else, just drop me a line. I'm going to be cutting new videos that will start going into the JavaScript stuff. Okay? Thank you.